Greetings. Hey, y'all. Hey, y'all. Peace and blessings. Come on in. Come on in. It is Monday, and it is the Monday before Thanksgiving, y'all. I don't know if everybody and those that participate and celebrate, I'm not really sure if y'all are ready, but I would recommend it. If you ain't ready, get ready and get ready expeditiously because this traffic and all of this other mumbo jumbo is getting ready to get serious, right? Right before, how a lot of people wait to the last minute to go out there. And even if you just going to get everyday necessities or groceries to re up on for the family, don't wait to the last minute, y'all. I got up and I got out early this morning, and now I'm at peace, and at least with that, where that's concerned. So come on in, peace and blessings. Hey, Salia, Benyaz in the building. We got Just Saying in the building. Love, peace, miracles, and blessings back to you. We got Phoenix Rising. Hey, pretty lady. Billy Dave's in the building. And yeah, so we're going to get right off into it. The topic is going to kind of range a little bit today. I'm going to touch on some aspects of, and I'm going to give a few responses and thoughts on what's going on in our sector, and then apply them to real life situations and bring some possible coping solutions and mechanisms, right? Because my spirit is always solution oriented, irrespective of the circumstances. I always choose to believe that it can get better, that the outlook and the mindset can shift, that we can implement different techniques and behaviors and actions to actually thwart, deal with, diffuse, or eradicate things that disturb our peace, things that really don't reflect who we really are. And I have to say, I haven't been on YouTube as much as I usually am, but there are several reasons for that. One of the reasons that I will mention is because I just don't like the direction it's going in, particularly speaking on this sector. I don't like when we have elders or we have people of seasoned age on this platform allowing themselves to either match low vibrational energy or to initiate that type of energy, basically get down in the gutter and act like everybody else, the same people that you ostracize, that you criticize, that you talk bad about, like it's giving you permission to actually, or it's giving you an excuse to get down on that same level and to conduct yourselves accordingly. Now you get a pass. You don't get a pass. You don't get a pass. We all are and will be held accountable for our actions. We all will be held accountable for our decision making. We all will yield consequences for how we conduct ourselves in every life situation, whether it's on the platform, whether it's out off of the platform, in the workplace, outside in public, amongst your loved ones, in the confines of your home, right? It doesn't matter where it is, doesn't matter what setting it is. How you conduct yourself is how you represent yourself. Your delivery and how you express yourself will absolutely dictate where you are, who you are, and how you move. Now, these are all my opinions. These are all my perspectives, my personal perspectives. It is what it is. But I decided today that I wanted to speak on a few um, of my perspectives and my opinions based off of some of the things that I have been seeing amongst this platform, right? I don't, I think a lot of people are triggered, and a lot of people's first response and reaction is to match that energy, to react in kind, and to basically say, okay, well, you did it, so now I can do it. Now I don't want to hear nothing about it because that side can do it. So if that side can do it and get away with it, and ain't nobody saying nothing, then this side can get away with it. And I don't want nobody saying nothing to me about nothing, right? The first point that I want to bring up is that if you are of a seasoned age, and I would go as far to say 40, maybe 45 and up, you shouldn't be showing your ass on this platform. We should be setting an example. We should be moving with more wisdom, with more patience and discernment than we are. I don't care who you are. I don't care what side you classify yourself on. I'm on my side. If I associate myself or socialize with people or pull up on people's channels and platforms, I still represent me at the end of the day. At the end of the day, I will tarnish my name based off of my behavior if my behavior is a reflection of something that people can't draw benefits from, that people can't draw goodness from, that is not solution oriented, that does not yield some positivity. I make my own decisions in that regard. And with that being said, I will move and I will shift and I will transcend accordingly based off of what I see. I don't need people reminding me or constantly reiterating and putting spells or attempting to put spells on me by saying to me that your name is going to be this, or you're not going to be this, or you're not going to do this, or they're going to drag you down. If you can't speak positivity over me, please move around and don't speak on me at all. I don't speak on people that I don't feel connected to, and especially for a long period of time, right? And so when I say that I'm on my side, God speaks through me. I represent Him in all things that I do. Am I perfect? No, but that is my intention. That is always my purpose, is to represent. I have children that are looking, even if they're adult children or they're minor children, they're still my children. And they are looking at my behavior because guess what? If I act and move the way that would yield them an excuse for them to do the same, then they're not going to respect my correction. They're not going to respect my responses or my suggestions or my advice or my wisdom, right? So my obligation is to them first. But if that's all the time, that's applicable for all the time, right? So that means wherever I go, I should be carrying that same fortitude, that same behavior, and those same foundational concepts into every aspect of my life. And I try to do that. Do I fall short? We all fall short. I'm not beyond correction. I'm not beyond people saying, you know what, Mr. Kimmy, I really don't, I think that you could benefit better by doing this. But the delivery is what matters. People are going to judge you and they're going to gauge the type of person that you are based on how you deliver your messages, good, bad, or indifferent, right? So shout out to the chat. Shout out, hey sis, we got Miss Collins in the building. Peace and blessings. She says, I'm on the side of what's right. Amen. 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 Exactly. Exactly. Right. Nate the Great Podcast. It's good to see you. Thank you for coming through. And we got Lock Doc. Good day to everybody coming into the chat. If you would just be so kind, if you haven't already, just to tap the like button, I would really appreciate it. If you're not subscribed, consider doing so. Memberships are available, so on and so forth. And yeah, so let's go ahead and get into I am a reaction channel. And I do love to use other people's words, their experiences, their delivery, their messages, and expound on them, right? And add my little commentary and my advice when it's all said and done. So, without further ado, the first video clip that I would like to actually share, this one resonated with me, and this actually speaks on you not being able to control how a person reacts to their disrespect. You cannot judge, gauge, not rightfully so, in my opinion, because when that person was disrespected, typically they weren't asking to be disrespected. Most of the time, people don't anticipate to be disrespected, but once the disrespect and the intention of disrespecting came forth, you can't at that point say, okay, yeah, I know I disrespected you, but based off of your response, I apologize. Or based off of me speaking before I thought about it, I apologize. And yeah, you don't get to say nothing to me because I apologized, right? That's not how this works. It is not how this works. And I'm going to let this young lady speak for herself. And it's a very brief video, but you don't need a lot of words in order to get the message across, in my opinion. Let's go.
You don't get to hurt people and determine the outcome. You know, what you do to people or whatever you inflict on people, how they handle it is not your decision. You should respect how they handled it. You know, whether it's them not wanting to talk to you, whether it's them not wanting to deal with you, block you or anything like that, that's not your decision. And even if you apologize, you know, you don't get to determine if someone accepts your apology, regardless of how sincere your apology is. So you
And that's the thing, right? You don't get to gauge, even if the apology is sincere, you still came with the disrespect, or you still, I would even go so far as to say that you had a lapse in judgment. And a lot of times we'll do that based off of an emotional charge, off of how the state of our emotions are at that time, which is why a lot of times people will speak before they think, because they're be emotionally led to respond instead of to think things through from a standpoint of facts and information. It comes from the emotional part of it, correct? So she's saying, you know, fair exchange ain't no robbery. If you give it, then you can't dictate, or you cannot rightfully dictate how a person reacts and how they respond to you. It just doesn't go together, right? You don't get to have any regrets or to misspeak or to jump the gun, jump out the window, hop off the cliff, say hurtful things, do hurtful things, and then you have a moment of regret and you like, yo, my bad, I apologize. And then when the person reacts or they respond the way that they see fit, now all of a sudden you're a victim. Now all of a sudden, I don't know why. Listen, I don't know why that person had to respond to it. I apologize. Okay, well, then how about in the future, before reacting from an emotional place, you pause, you take a moment instead of letting your emotions lead you, right? It seems to be a trigger, particularly on this platform, is what I'm speaking for and from a place from, but it can be applied to everyday life in any situation, in anybody that you're dealing with at work. A lot of times tensions run high, people bump heads, and then they communicate ineffectively, and then the tension grows, the environment becomes more intolerable to work in, that person becomes, you don't have the patience to be in that person's presence, and things can escalate therefore, right, at that point. So I just wanted to absolutely kind of lead with that. But there's a lot of good information and little video clips. Well, not a lot, a few that I'm going to absolutely respond to. And I think you can get value from. So this is not beef. That's not what this is. This is absolutely recognizing and being able to yield a response to disrespect, or yield a response to people behaving inappropriately, saying inappropriate things, hurting people intentionally because they feel that they have been erred in some way. Before I go to the next video, I want to make a note, a verbal note also. I don't like disrespect. I don't like to see disrespect. Words do matter, especially when you're on a platform or in an environment where that's all you have are your words. There's no physical connection, right? So all you have to represent yourself is what comes out of your mouth. I don't like seeing the men, any man, disrespect females. I don't like seeing females disrespect the men. For some reason, though, it stings, particularly so from a place of venom, when it's reiterated over and over and over again. It's like every time they're in the same environment, people have to just spew out words of disrespect. Why do you feel the need to constantly talk about people every time you see them in a chat or on a panel? How many different ways of disrespect do you think is warranted before you decide to move around and make different decisions? Is that what leads your life? Is that what people are doing to you in the scenario of hurt people hurt people? What is it about being a man, because I'm not a man, so I'm genuinely asking, that feels that women or a woman, and I'm not saying that woman, I'm just saying if you have procreated with any woman and brought forth life, that should, in my opinion, yield automatically a mutual respect for men being able to at least show a woman some type of respect. Even if the woman doesn't respect herself in his eyes, why continue to reverberate and add insult to injury? Is it for clicks and views? Do you get enjoyment out of it? Do you get satisfaction out of it? It's not a good look. The man is looked at as being the stronger vessel over a woman. That's why the one thing that I will say, that even though I don't agree with women going after women, men going after men, I definitely don't get the connection or don't get the validation of why men feel the need to constantly disrespect women. Even if women don't respect themselves, what is so hard about moving around and finding something else to do? I am sure whether you're retired, whether all you have is time on your hands, you can still utilize it in more of a productive fashion. We have a whole generation or two or three below you, depending on what your age is, that are looking for guidance. They're looking for good examples. They're looking for someone to display and not just tell them what they should do, but they demonstrate it by example to make more of an impression. You get more respect that way. And it's the delivery, it's how it's done. I'm not feeling it. I'm not feeling the constant, every time you get into a certain space with a woman, as a man, you feel the need and you feel the justification to go so low. And to go so low to the point where you're doing several hour lives and reiterating the same exact level of disrespect, the same verbiage. You're just switching it around. How many times does it need to be said? How many times? What happened to somebody becoming the bigger person, or being the bigger person, being the more mature, looking at the bigger picture and asking just such a basic question as to, how is this benefiting me or those connected to me? How is any of this beneficial for anybody that is within the scope of listening to what is being said? We have got to do better. I apply the same veracity and the same exclamation point with women doing it to men. Because at the end of the day, disrespect is disrespect. If you don't, and I grew up, I was raised on this. If you don't have nothing nice to say to people, then why say anything at all? Why don't you just move around? You can utilize your energy to other things that take importance. Other things, and Lord knows we're living in a time where there are so many other things that really could require and need to require our attention, other than coming to a superficial place and giving yourself permission to just get down in the gutter and just be super disrespectful every opportunity you seek out. With that being said, let's go.
I thought having a bad attitude meant that you one of those people that's just on go no matter what. Like, nobody even has to do something to you first, right? Like, these are the type of people that you ask them a simple question like, hey, is it cold outside? And they automatically, no. How would I know? Like, dang, I'm just asking you something simple. So in my head, I'm like, I don't act like that. So I ain't got no bad attitude. I had completely disqualified myself from that. But that is not all that having a bad attitude is. I gotta tell y'all what God put me in check about. Because God doesn't just speak in blessings. He also speaks in correction. And baby, did he correct me. Matter of fact, I'm gonna let this video explain it even better than I can.
You got a bad attitude. When people have an attitude with you, it ain't nothing Christ-like about you. I'm tired of being tried, and I'm always tried when I'm tired. I get it. But the Bible says, be angry and sin not. Proverbs 15:1, it says that a soft answer turns away wrath.
A soft answer turns away wrath. I know it was either 1 or 2 live streams ago where I was speaking on how when I used to like go out, I used to always go out by myself or whatever, and people used to try me. And one of the techniques, or one of the things that I used to do in order to diffuse the high energy, the high strung energy, the threatening energy, right, is I used to give them a compliment. I still do. I mean, I don't put myself in those situations very much anymore, but sometimes you can't really avoid it, right? But what I'm saying is that a kind word, being slow to anger, being slow to speak, all of these biblical principles and life principles, because anything, in my opinion, that is biblical is life sustaining. It is life enhancing, right? So he's saying that be slow to anger, be slow to speak. We understand everybody's tired. Everybody feeling some type of way nowadays. Life demands so much of us that most of the time we don't have a lot of energy. However, if things that people are saying about you are not true, then why do they have such an effect on you to the point where you feel like you need to respond in kind? Everything does not require a response, and I will continue to say that. Go ahead, brother.
But grievous words stirs up anger. It's time for you to realize that God's word holds true in every situation. Use God's word as your sword of the spirit to fight back the enemy that's trying to attack you. Understand something? He's just using the people that's around you, right? See, a person is going to know you by your fruits by when you're tested.
Oh, God is going to know you, and people are going to know you by your fruits when you are tested. Why not focus on realizing that you are being tested and that you want to grow from the last time you were tested, especially if you're not getting good results, as opposed to just reacting and responding because you in your feelings or you feel disrespected. Everybody gets disrespected. However, like I said, if the things that are being said about you are not true, and even if they are, but I'm speaking in particular about them not being true, you are giving it power. You are fortifying it, and you're giving it credence and validity by even responding, much less responding on the level or on the vibration that it was given to you in the first place, because that makes you no better than the person that said those disparaging things about you. Hurt people hurt people. So if you're so quick to respond and pop off, then what does that say about you? As my title speaks, the truth about who you are is in your delivery. I meant that. Let's go.
Let's get our attitudes right.
So yeah, I don't know about y'all, but that checked me.
I wanna play that one more time, and I'm not gonna interrupt because I don't think he needed any help. And I loved how she introduced that concept to say, and she was transparent enough to say, you know what? Listen, I thought that I didn't have a bad attitude because I just didn't walk around popping off on people. But the fact of the matter is that you can still have a bad attitude, a bad disposition, and yield to the very thing that you criticize or that you judge quietly or otherwise other people on, and say things and do things, and it be defined that, guess what? You still have an attitude. You still, if you respond in kind, you are no different than the person that committed the act against you. So again, I'm not going to interrupt, but let's hear this again in its totality.
I thought having a bad attitude meant that you one of those people that's just on go no matter what. Like nobody even has to do something to you first, right? Like these are the type of people that you ask them a simple question like, hey, is it cold outside? And they automatically, no. How would I know? Like, dang, I'm just asking you something simple. So in my head, I'm like, I don't act like that. So I ain't got no bad attitude. I had completely disqualified myself from that. But that is not all that having a bad attitude is. I gotta tell y'all what God put me in check about. Because God doesn't just speak in blessings. He also speaks in correction. And baby, did he correct me. Matter of fact, I'm gonna let this video explain it even better than I can.
You got a bad attitude. When people have an attitude with you, it ain't nothing Christ-like about you. I'm tired of being tried, and I'm always tried when I'm tired. I get it. But the Bible says be angry and sin not. Proverbs 15:1, it says that a soft answer turns away wrath, but grievous words stirs up anger. It's time for you to realize that God's word holds true in every situation. Use God's word as your sword of the spirit to fight back the enemy that's trying to attack you. Understand something? He's just using the people that's around you, right? See, a person is going to know you by your fruits by when you're tested. Let's get our attitudes right.
So yeah, I don't know about y'all, but that checked me.
I love that. I love that. I see y'all in the chat. I see y'all in the chat. Go ahead, Celia. Look, y'all better leave Celia alone. I don't know. Say, listen, we got Miss Phoenix. You said she almost delivered. I don't know. That's up for debate. No, I'm just kidding. Listen, Linda. All I got to say is that we are all in works in progress, and that, you know what, it is what it is, right? So listen, we're going to go right to now this one speaks on narcissism, and I want to just kind of break it down in my own words prior to actually playing the video, because the way this woman articulated herself, I thought was absolutely wonderfully articulated and stated. But I just want to add mine on to how when it comes to narcissists, especially the covert ones, often use subtle tactics to, they either manipulate, they control, or they diminish others, right? And one thing that people will do, narcissists particularly, is they will blur the lines. They'll make you question your thinking. They'll make you question your reality. They'll make you question what you interpret as being disrespect or manipulation or control, right? We've got a few people on this app that think that they're really good at doing that. And for some, they may be. However, for others, it's not as covert. It's really obvious, right? So moving on from a narcissist begins with self-awareness and the courage to reclaim your narrative, your story, your reality. Okay? So what we have to do, though, is we have to accept that they won't change or acknowledge the harms that they've caused. They won't take no accountability. They won't hold themselves responsible for nothing. They're really professional victims, or they become professional victims, especially if they are unsuccessful in manipulating you, controlling you, and belittling others, right? So I just wanted to add that, and here we go.
One of the most dangerous manipulation tactics is when someone wrongs you, then acts like nothing happened. They'll smile, chat, and behave as if they didn't betray the hell out of you.
Speak.
Without ever offering an apology or taking accountability. It seems like they just want you to move on, but it's more sinister than this. This is manipulation. A calculated mix of gaslighting, triggering, and confusion, to be exact. They want you at war with yourself, so you're too distracted to hold them accountable. And if you do snap, they get to play the victim, so bonus. The key is not to gloss over it or blow up and confront it. As soon as someone like this attempts something like that, as calmly as you can, try this. No hard feelings, but I'm not interested in engaging like this with you given the history of what was done.
She just broke something down, right? That I don't want to gloss over. I am not engaging with you like this. It is so super okay to move around. It is so super okay to detach yourself. It is so super okay to let go and to just move on in your life, in your daily activities, to just detach and say, you know what? I choose not to participate and to be a participant in this. Now, I'm not saying not to defend yourself. I'm not saying that you should never say anything or address it. That's not my point. My point is first of all, you have to be willing to, even if it's going to cost you temporarily, what will it cost you? What will it cost you to respond? If you don't feel it's going to cost you anything, then do what you do. But again, that also will be determined by your delivery. Your response and how you respond, in the spirit in which you respond, is your delivery. It can blow it up or it can diffuse it. You can get your same point across either way, but how is it going to be delivered is going to determine how that person will respond.
Then leave it at that and go your own way. It's not rude to protect your peace by refusing to participate in chaos. Boundary up. I hope this helps.
And that's another thing too, is having boundaries. I was raised with that word being in my family's vernacular because everybody should have them. Everybody should have boundaries, and they should be enforced no matter who is the one attempting to cross or disrespect that boundary. Boundaries yield consequences, right? So I liked what she had to say on that. And sometimes, people that are very close to you doesn't make letting go super easy. It can be a process, but the factor of the matter is that if it's costing you your peace, at some point, separating yourself could, in a lot of cases, be the most liberating act that you could ever give yourself. Could be a self-love act, right? Because at the end of the day, it's about your peace. It's about you being able to live with yourself. So let's Ms. Collins says it's hard to do, sis, when the person just won't shut up and let it go. And hopping on panels, repeating ish over and over, but I'm trying my hardest to stay silent. Let me tell you, I see some of the same things, or a lot of the same things you do, Ms. Collins, and I totally understand and agree with you, which is why I thought it would help to have this discussion today, because growth isn't always comfortable, and it also will yield good results on the back end, which means a lot of times on the front end, it's going to seem like you taking steps backwards. It's going to seem like what you're doing is not helping but hurting. But that's why discernment and vision is so important, and having some emotional control and intelligence, because you can weigh those things out. The one good part about what you said that we can look at as well is that once it's being said over and over and you're silent, you are reflecting. You're not jumping out the window. You're not reacting based off an emotional charge that the disrespect or that your name constantly being brought up is being mentioned, right? So you are already exercising restraint, and you're already exercising going through the due process of trying to figure out, okay, do I say something? If I don't say something, when do I say something? If you say something, and even more importantly, if I do, what will it solve? What can I expect to be the outcome? Is it going to bring me peace, right? Eventually, they will find somebody else to mess with. But if you tinker back and forth, and every now and then you rear your head and you say something that you know that's been on your mind, you're going to revive what was on the way of being dead. And I know it's not in our time limit, and it's not in our time constraints, because once we say something, we just want it to be over. but we don't have control over what other people do, but we do have control over our response, over how we deliver it. And guess what? They can say something 1,000 times, but if it doesn't directly tarnish or destroy my reputation in real life, right? In real life, because people that know you, and they know bullshit when they see it. And they know jealous people when they see it. They know envious people when they see it. They know messy people when they see it. People gravitate, typically speaking, to energy that matches theirs, right? So let them do what they do. This is just a suggestion. We are all grown. We are all adults. I'm just speaking about what has worked for me, what works for me. Do I want to pop off? Hell yeah. There are times I listen. I do. However, I make sure I don't do it right off the bat. I got to settle into, is this coming from an emotional place? Why do I feel like I have to defend myself? Defend yourself to what? Somebody that knows they're lying? Somebody that knows that they're not being honest? They got to live with that. They have to live with that, not you. If it doesn't apply to me, I don't make it apply to me by letting it stick to me through me responding. As soon as I respond, there are going to be people, not that I care, but I'm just saying, for the sake of conversation, there are going to be people that automatically assume, well, or think there may be some truth to that. Because why would you feel the need to defend yourself if this person ain't saying nothing and they just talking out their ass, right? So that's just my response to that, and my thoughts on that. So let's go to this one. Here comes from, she sounds like she's a professional, but her video is super short. However, some of the most profound words come from some of the shortest clips. Let's go.
The next time someone disrespects you, they have the audacity to be out of line with you. You're not going to fumble. You're going to repeat after me. You're going to save this. You're going to rehearse this in the mirror. You're going to pause firstly, let them sit in it for a couple of seconds, make it awkward. And then you're going to say, do you treat everyone like this, or are you explicitly asking me to tolerate it?
That part. Why me? Why me? Why you feel, do I give off the energy that it's okay to come at me disrespectfully? And if I don't, then why would I sit in it and feed it? Okay. The good thing about this platform is that even though we occupy some of the same spaces, these people don't have real life access to you. Now, that's where, okay, when they start that doxing shit, when they start trying to feel like they're entitled to delve into your personal life, now that's where I have an issue and a problem with. You get no respect from me. Because that means you feel like online you're losing some type of battle to where you feel like you got to have the leg up to dig and to delve into someone's personal life and business. I don't care about what happens off of this app in people's personal lives and business to the point where I am going to investigate, research, and position myself and spend my time, my resources, my money, and putting my situation and my real life on the back burner to figure out what you got going on behind the scenes. I don't mess with nobody on here. And I expect the same in kind. I got an issue, and I don't care who it is. When you take stuff off of YouTube and you start delving into people's lives behind the scenes, I ain't messing with you on no level. When it becomes clear to me, I'm out. I'm out. Because if you'll do it to one person, if you haven't done it, you'll do it to me. Now, I don't I don't live my life to where you can dig up a whole bunch of dirt on me. And I'm transparent enough that if I'm a certain type of way or I've been through a certain experience, I'm transparent enough to say that I have. But that's for me to decide. That's not your decision to make. We don't know each other on here, right? So what gives you the right to feel like you can come and investigate into my personal life? What is it that you are so attracted to, or you so possessive of, or you so obsessed with, that even gives you the thought process to think that that's okay? I would never. I'm not as invested in anybody's personal lives on here, none. And especially when you don't feel comfortable enough to reveal it to me yourself, right? And to me, that displays also a method of delivery, a method of character. If you absolutely feel justified in bringing people's personal lives onto this platform, attacking family members, I don't comply and I don't agree to none of that on no level, from nobody, from no direction on this app at all. I don't condone it. I'm speaking against it, and I'm doing it on my channel. And I'm doing it cammed up because I want you to get the message that it's not okay. It's not okay. I put it up there with the disrespect, right? Because what have you invested into my life to feel like you deserve to know what goes on behind this app? What have you invested? What have you given? What have you sacrificed? And what will you gain? Because anybody that does that is looking to drag somebody, to destroy their reputation, to bring them to the carpet and belittle them, right? I'm telling you, that's what it is. There are no good intentions when you take things offline on this app. And I just don't understand it. I do not believe that you are of good character. And that is my belief. If you are willing and feel justified in digging in people's personal lives and business. Because at the end of the day, then people don't have access to your kids. They don't have access to your workplace. What you eat don't make them shit. So I don't understand what validity that brings. And that's all I'm going to say about that, because I've made my point on that. I guess the only other thing that I want to say because to me, when it comes to access and disrespect, people who continuously disrespect you often do so because they have access to you. Whether it's through conversations, whether it's through shared spaces, whether it's through relationships, your willingness to engage, whether you are responding to something that they've said, no matter what the circumstances are, it allows them, now you have given them the green light to repeat the behavior. Make no mistake about it. If you engage, you respond, you've given them, in their minds, are like, oh, well, that bothers that person. So let me just pick at that open wound so it doesn't heal. You've exercised either a trigger or to them a weakness. And anything you respond to, they are going to come back at you. The quicker you don't respond and you move around, the quicker they're going to look stupid. Because now they're arguing with themselves. Now they're beating a dead horse with a stick. Now they're reiterating themselves with no response. So it's showing that they are actually triggered and that their weakness and their flaws are coming to the forefront, and it can't be blamed upon you. They're going to eventually be exposed for the intention that they're coming after you in the first place. And most of the time it's jealousy, or it's envy, or it's greed. It's always something that doesn't benefit them in the end, or you, right? So let's go on to the next one, and I'll just let it speak for itself. Let's go.
The reason that one person feels so comfortable disrespecting you over and over and over again is because you keep allowing them to have access to you. A lot of people will only see your value once they're no longer a part of your life, and that's okay. Learn to be the one that got away, because choosing a life that you want and deserve over settling for less is a badge of honor. The reason that one person feels so comfortable disrespecting you over and over and over again is because you keep allowing them to have access to you. A lot of people will only see your value once they're no longer a part of your life, and that's okay. Learn to be the one that got away, because choosing a life that you want and deserve over settling for less is a badge of honor.
Is a badge of honor. Let's go. So she is speaking, in my opinion, on the power of boundaries. Okay, so let's touch on that, even though I mentioned that earlier. Boundaries are your personal defense mechanism against disrespect. Boundaries can be fortified and enforced against disrespect every single time, because with boundaries there are consequences. With boundaries there are outcomes. You will be held responsible, whether you do it or somebody else holds you responsible, by establishing, enforcing, and standing on boundaries. In this case, the boundary is the limited or lack of access, right? So when you prevent people from having access to you, that is absolutely a boundary. It's one of the most beneficial and strengthened boundaries that I have personally. You get access to me when it's granted. Now, once I grant you access and you intentionally use that to my disadvantage, you weaponize the access that you have with me, I'm out. I'm done. I don't want to talk about it. I don't want to discuss it. I don't want to rehash anything that has happened, because I have seen what I need to see, and that boundary has been crossed. And once that boundary is crossed, it is up to me to enforce it. If I don't enforce it, I get everything I deserve. And I believe that with anybody. Once that boundary has been crossed, it is up to me to enforce the consequences of stating, guess what? I said that if you do this, this is what was going to be the outcome. Or if you saw someone else do it and I reacted in kind, what makes you feel that you were any different? Especially when I come and I give you access to me with good intention. If I give you access to me with good intention and you weaponize it, or you misuse it, or you turn it against me, it says so much more of you than it does of me in a bad light. Again, I make sure I can go to sleep at night. Can you? That's the question I got. All right, so we're going to do one more video and then we're going to wrap this up. We almost at an hour mark. I like to keep it short and sweet. I think I've reiterated my point. Use several examples and several little clips in order to re-emphasize and to enforce my commentary, and the point of that your delivery and how you communicate with people, the things that you say, the environment that you say them in, with yielding certain results, that tells more of who you are than anybody else. And that was essentially the topic and the point of my live that I wanted to convey in this video, is that it's up to everybody. We all grown, right? At the end of the day. So it really is a personal decision on how you want to move on these YouTube streets and in the real streets. However, what I will say is don't feel some type of way, and please don't become a victim when you get the results that you weren't seeking, when the outcome doesn't turn out the way that you hoped that it would turn out. Don't become a victim at that point, especially if you initiate and then you participate in a back and forth. Nobody's interested in being the bigger person to diffuse the situation. And then guess what? It breeds and begets more low vibration, more evil. You got to go lower and lower and lower and lower. That is hard to come back from, to redeem yourself, especially once you repeat it over and over and over. If that exemplifies your behavior 85% of the time, that's pretty much who you are. Maybe your subconscious has been waiting for an opportunity to be put in a position to expose itself, or to come to the forefront, to feel comfortable enough to basically say, okay, well, this is who I am, because now you're surrounded with people that are just like you, right? Or at least on the same wavelength when it comes to respect. So again, all right, y'all, we're going to do this last one and then we're going to wrap up. Let's go. Salute to the chat. Hey, Bolo. Hey, what's going on? We got Tajaga in the building. Salute, peace, and blessings to my chat. I love my chat. Let's go, y'all.
People can't stand when you give them the same energy they give you. Oh, they hate it. They hate being treated the way that they treat other people. That's why I don't have too many friends. That's why I don't associate myself with too many people, because the second you start giving somebody the same type of energy that they give you, all of a sudden you turn into the bad guy. All of a sudden you're the one with the problem. You're the one with the issues. When you give people the same treatment that they give you, oh, it breaks their heart. It hurts their poor little soul. They think that they can treat you any kind of way and you're supposed to sit there and take that. Nah, I'm not a doormat. You can't just walk over me. You can't just come into my life and walk over me. Absolutely not.
And I want to say this. People are easily misconstrued and misjudged when they're kind. A lot of times kind people are labeled as soft, as weak, vulnerable. I object to that. I return that back to the sender. That doesn't apply to me. I can only speak from my perspective. I've been through enough in my life that I know personally a lot of people did not survive. They're not here to tell their story. I consider myself, and I pride myself on being a kindred spirit, on being a kind person, doing the right thing, treating people the way that I would like to be treated, always seeking and trying to maintain peace so everyone connected to me can benefit from that peace and learn the same things that have worked for me. But I would just want to say that kind people, it is a huge misconception. It's the quiet ones, the kind ones, and the ones that don't bother nobody that you might want to leave alone. You don't know that person's story. You don't know their testimony. You don't know what they've been through. And just because they're kind and they have God that exudes through them, no matter who they're speaking with, that energy and that light shines through them, that's anything but weak. Because anything and anyone that reflects God is the strongest walking among us. Make no mistake about that. Let's go.
What you should have done was appreciate me when you had me.
Period.
Because once I decide that I'm out, I'm out. You lost me. I refuse to lay on my knees because you insecure about yourself. And so you treat people bad to make you feel better. I refuse. People can't
Amen.
stand when you give them the same energy they give you. Oh, they hate it. They hate being treated the way that they treat other people. That's why I don't have too many friends. That's why I don't associate myself with too many people, because the second you start giving somebody the same type of energy that they give you, all of a sudden you turn into the bad guy. All of a sudden you're the one with the problem. You're the one with the issues. When you give people the same treatment that they give you, oh, it breaks their heart. It hurts their poor little soul. They think that they can treat you any kind of way and you're supposed to sit there and take that. Nah, I'm not a doormat. You can't just walk over me. You can't just come into my life and walk over me. Absolutely not. What you should have done was appreciate me when you had me. Because once I decide that I'm out, I'm out. You lost me. I refuse to lay on my knees because you insecure about yourself.
That part. Because of your insecurities, now all of a sudden everybody else supposed to pay the price for it, right? I beg to differ, right? So when it comes to the emotional toll of being disrespected, it can really erode your mental health, your confidence, your sense of self. It behooves you to have boundaries. It behooves you to enforce those boundaries. You respecting yourself by doing so, and you will be disrespecting yourself by allowing people to trample on your boundaries, because at that point, they're no longer boundaries. Celia says, meekness for weakness, fool around and find out. Look, you better talk to him, Celia, because I'm telling you, you can really misjudge a person by the level of their kindness and their kindred spirit. That those are the ones you really want to leave alone. And that's just, I'm just going to say that. I'm just going to say that, right? So over time, you may internalize their behavior as a reflection of your worth, right? To break free, you have to recognize that their disrespect says more about them than it does about you. It is okay to walk away, y'all. It really is. I'm not saying you need to walk away over and over and over again. All I'm saying is that not giving it the power and not fortifying it and giving it any type of power or credence will make it go away just that much faster. So with that being said, I just want to say I appreciate everybody coming through. I know there's a lot going on in these YouTube streets. However, I just want to, like I've always said, that when I feel spirit led, I'm going to listen to that. I don't care what's going on, because at the end of the day, this world is in chaos. People's spirits are in chaos. People are not at peace. And it's a reflection, and it's reflective day in and day out. And I'm speaking particularly again on this platform. I do not subscribe to the disrespect. I do not condone disrespect, whether it's man on man, man on woman, woman on man, or woman on woman. Disrespect is disrespect. I do think that the men being in the position to be natural leaders should lead by example and should be the last ones to utter disrespect and to besmirch and to belittle anybody. But it stings a little bit more for me when you're doing it to a woman and you're repeating it over and over and over again. In my opinion, it shows me a lack of maturity, wisdom, understanding, and it also lets me know that your level of emotional intelligence could use some more girth. It could use some more fortification. You could work on that more, right? And that's it. I'm not here to criticize anybody. I'm not here to do any of that. But what I am, for me to stay quiet on what I'm seeing that's disturbing to me, I absolutely have to speak on. If the shoe fit, put it on. If it don't apply, let it fly. If it hit home and you're feeling some type of way, then I'm talking to you. Okay? This message applies to you as well. So when it comes to, I always like to bring solutions and then I'm out. It's a process to heal. A lot of times we have triggers, and when those triggers are discovered, they're picked at, like that open wound I was talking about earlier. Say less, do less, and be more outside this app than you are on the app. You've got a lot of unwell people in this environment. You have a lot of people hiding behind guises of other things on this app. I don't think anybody should be putting all their business on this app. I think you should be very selective and very particular about what kind of access you give a whole bunch of people that you have no information as to what type of intentions or agendas they may have over you or planned for you. Be selective. Use your discernment. It is okay. Don't look for social media or the internet to make friends and let that be your only source of friendship. It's a dangerous place to do that because you don't have enough information about people, and it takes years to develop true friendships. People are forever changing. So the minute you think you know somebody, they're evolving. You're evolving. Now that you're not the person you were yesterday in some aspects, they're not the person that they were some days in those aspects. Absolutely use discretion, right? No emotional intelligence at all. Absolutely. Miss Collins says, thank you for speaking on this. Oh, I definitely needed to hear this message today. Amen. This is why I do this, Miss Collins. Sis, I appreciate you saying that. And I'm so grateful because it motivates me to keep going in the direction that I'm going in, even if, it's the less popular or the less viewed direction. But one thing that I do know for sure, and two things are for certain, is that those that need to hear anything that I have to say, they will gravitate to what I have to say, and they will at least listen. So with that being said, thank you. I appreciate you. And we got Phoenix in the building. My sis, she says you are a breath of fresh air. Oh, and so are you. So are you. You know what? I've met some beautiful people through this app. I really have. And it's the beautiful people that keep me engaged and keep me typing in the chats, because so many people just watch from the bushes because they see all of the foolishness that can transpire in a chat, and they just feel safer people not, isolating them and putting them in a position to be easily attacked. So they watch and they gain edification from the bushes. I speak to them as well. However, I have definitely found a lot of value in people on this app. Not everybody. God knows not everybody. But to those, if you know who you are. And I absolutely appreciate y'all. I am not that I would ever say this because people's actions show louder than words, but for the sake of the context of topic of the conversation, I am very genuine. What you see is what you get. If you don't see people like me every day, or if you don't get what you get from me on a regular basis and on a consistent basis, it doesn't make me anybody else. It makes me who I am. And so with that being said, I appreciate everybody for coming in. If you come in late, please feel free to go watch the replay. I've touched on quite a few things, but One of the biggest topics is your delivery, how you treat people. You can sum it up in 1,000 different ways. How you treat people, you can expect that same treatment in return. You are who you surround yourself with. I don't approve a lot of what's going on this app in my spaces, in the spaces I usually frequent, right? And so I just take a step back and reevaluate and move around. I can't tell people what to do, but I can express just like everybody else, and especially all of the other content creators, that I do have a right to vocalize my opinion and my thoughts just like everyone else, right? I hope everybody has a wonderful, wonderful rest of your day. If it's sunny where you are, go outside and soak up some of this sun. Go ride a bike, take a walk. If you have pets, go outside with your cuddle buddies. Do something outside of this computer. Too much of anything is not good, right? And with that being said, I love y'all. Peace and blessings. And I feel like I'm forgetting something, but if I did, it's okay. I'll be back, right? I'll see y'all soon. Peace, and I'm out.